look at. We're going to try and summarize it down as sweet as we possibly can. Right? Yes. Good. Okay. So we are now looking at the structures within it. So we looked at the cells, prokaryotics, eukaryotics. We looked at the cell membrane. How does that work? It's, it's an ocean between two layers of fat. And now we're looking at what is inside of a cell. So we are really just looking at what's in a eukaryotic cell, and then what's the difference between plant and animal cells, because they are very different, obviously. So a lot of stuff here, right? A lot of stuff. This is one of the more complicated things. And this is going to have a lot of stuff that we're going to be referencing, especially as we look at how do cells work. Now, after they will know what's in it, but we want to now know how they work, how they function. So this is here a picture of a cell. This is within your actual handout there. So I figured I'd save you guys the time with like having to label it yourself. But this one here is, of course, an animal cell. This is on the second page of your document there. So it's an animal cell, and then this one here is a plant cell. One of the big takeaways, of course, is going to be the color. Plant cells have chloroplasts. They are green, right? They undergo photosynthesis. That's one of the major differences. We're going to go into all of the differences as we go through. So for starting out here, so we have something here called cytoplasm. So the area in here is filled with cytoplasm. Again, if you're looking at this, where's the cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is just all the stuff in between, right? It's almost like a gel that's in between all the organs and stuff. For you, like what's in between your organs, your cytoplasm, quote unquote, will probably be like your blood and stuff like that, your veins that goes in between all the major stuff. So here's the difference. In prokaryotic cells, those are the simple cells, right? All those processes happen only in the cytoplasm because that's all they have. So as long as you remember that prokaryotic cells only have like just cytoplasm, you don't actually even need to like know this because well, it has to take place there. That's the only place it can happen. It just has a plasma membrane and cytoplasm. The difference is in eukaryotic cells, they have all those different organs, right? And so all those processes happen within their organs. Is anyone here ever like opened up a worm before or something like that, or like accidentally stepped on one, or like a certain bug and like it's just like goo that spits out? There's no organs and stuff in certain animals. It's the same case here with those prokaryotes, right? We have certain things dedicated to helping us breathe, to filtering out waste. We have specific organs and processes for that. Some animals and bugs don't have that. It's the same thing here. Again, prokaryotics happens in cytoplasm, and eukaryotics happens in the organs. So let's start going through here. We also have a cytoskeleton, which is a network of long, thin protein fibers, and it forms the framework. I don't think you really need to know much more than like what's the skeleton do? It's a support system, right? What does your skeleton do? It keeps you upright. It's what your muscles and stuff attach to. It's very similar for cells. It provides an anchor for organs. Your bones provide an anchor for organs, help keep them in place. And it also provides that framework, right? Just like you, like that's how you're built. Your body's built around your bones. So you don't need to know much more than that. As long as you like look at, a skeleton, like what a skeleton does, you can probably infer what you need to know from it. One thing we do need to know though is that they're made up of microtubules and microfilaments. And what the heck is the difference? If you're looking here, you can kind of see it. I know it's a little small here, but those microtubes there, and then the microfilaments is all this yellow stuff here. So those microtubes are those long cylinders. That's what forms the skeleton, and that's what moves stuff. You can almost think of them like the veins, right? Your veins transport air, nutrients, waste in and out of your body. Your blood and veins do that. That's the veins of the cell. The microfilaments give the cell shape and they help the cell move. They are the muscles, right? So we have veins and we have muscles. And together, those two things form this skeleton. Okay. So next we're going into the nucleus. Now, does anyone remember what a nucleus does off the top of your head? Yeah, it has the DNA, right? So nucleus is where your DNA is stored. And right now, that's all you need to know. We're going to eventually learn more about this, specifically, how does it make proteins with it? But right now, what do you need to know? DNA is stored in the nucleus. And then it has a nuclear envelope around it as well. So the big thing here is, again, cell, nucleus, DNA. Okay. One of the other things here is our ribosomes as well. So we're going to reference these a lot as we go through, but these are what make the proteins. We're going to spend a lot of time looking at what these make. So this is a really important thing. Protein production happens in the ribosome. If you guys remember from Health Science Studies 20, when we looked at the nutrition part of it, there are certain amino acids, proteins that you need to live and you need to eat. Obviously, you know, some vegetarians struggle with that, but there's foods you can eat that are vegan and vegetarian friendly as well. But there are certain things that you can't produce. The ribosome cannot produce it, but it can produce most. So ribosomes are also produced inside the nucleus. Yeah, big thing here is that ribosomes are what manufacture those proteins. Okay, so we're just you noticing we're just kind of going through and around here, looking at all the stuff within here. So next one here, of course, is our well, not of course, but is our we call these ERs. I'm going to refer to them as ERs, but the traditional term is endoplasmic reticulum. So ERs. So these have a whole bunch of sacs and interfolded channels, yada yada. These also help create protein and fat synthesis. You see lipid, that means fat. So we have two different kinds, and we'll go into those. Think of these like your intestines. Your intestines in your body are actually very long. They're like 10 meters, 20 meters long, something like that, if I recall. I might be off on the numbers. They're very long. How do you fit that much in your body? It's small and it's folded together. Just like that. So these ERs are small and folded together. And with that, you're able to fit a large amount of stuff in a small thing. It's the same reason your brain has folds in. You can fit more in a smaller area. So we're going to look at the difference between those two in a second. Okay, so let's go into the difference between these two. So a rough ER and a smooth ER. So the rough one is bumpy and it attaches to the ribosomes and it produces proteins for export to the other cells. Export means to send out, right? Saskatchewan exports a lot of potash. We mine it, we ship it out. The rough ER produces the proteins and ships it out. And you might be wondering, but you said the ribosome does it all. It's attached to the ribosome. So rough ER is, again, helps with protein. The smooth ER instead helps with carbs and lipids, aka fats, and it helps detoxify your liver. So anytime you have a drink, you take an aspirin or anything like that, it's adjusting. It's happening in your liver, and this helps. This is what helps the liver process stuff. Is these smooth ERs within your body. Okay, so we have the Golgi apparatus. Like I said, I know there's a lot here, guys. So this is a flattened stack of membranes, sorts, modifies, and packages proteins. You don't really need to know that. You don't really need to know that. What you do need to know is that how does it package this stuff? Well, the proteins are put into sacs that we call vesicles, and then they get released into the environment. This is the last animal soul. So you're probably starting to see why stuff like flashcards really, really helpful. So now we're going into something that's only found in a plant one. Well, yeah. So this is only in a plant one. So you just want to make sure there's a note of that. They're mostly found in plant, I guess, is one thing. But so basically, vacuole is used for temporary storage. This is what it stores, and then this is where it's mostly found. And that should be in your notes already. I believe is what it was. Sorry, this one was not in your notes. And again, you don't have to take super in-depth notes. This is on your section check there. You will get those back as well. Okay. So when we eat something, where does it go to? It goes to your stomach. Your stomach starts to digest it, right? Everything needs energy. Everything needs to eat something, consume something. So where that happens in cells is your lysosomes. So basically, you can think of lysosomes as the stomach. If you really want to boil it down to one word, it's your stomach. It eats food, and it is also a little bit of an immune system within the cell. We're going to talk about viruses later in the course and how small they are. They are so much smaller than even a cell. So again, lysosomes are your stomach. They eat and digest stuff, and they also destroy bacteria. Yeah. So we have centrioles. So um I don't even know. I don't even think you need to write this down, honestly. Like we'll get to these later. So I'm just gonna kind of bypass this one. Big one here. So I've always said there's two things you're gonna get out of any grade 12 ever. You're gonna get SOHCAHTOA, that's the math thing, and you're gonna get that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's just a phrase that's kind of emanated its way into pop culture. Basically, mitochondria is what turns your food into energy. So when we say it's the powerhouse of the cell, it's the engine of the cell, right? It turns gas into energy. Don't really need to know this part. You just need to know that it is responsible for converting food into energy. Okay, that's the last animal one, I promise. So that's the last animal cell. So now we're going to jump ahead to plant cells. So plant cells, as you guys saw on the second page of your document here, they have a lot of similar stuff, but not all the same. Obviously, they're different. So we're going to start going over what some of those differences are. One of the big one is the chloroplast. So chloroplast is what captures the light, converts it into chemical energy through photosynthesis. All you really need to know is that chloroplast photosynthesis green, right? I think we'll just do 2 more and then we'll cut it off there.
We have to add one of these in it. Oh, we did yesterday.
Keep them for now. Eventually, yes, but you can keep them now. So so all cells have a plasma membrane, right? That's like the skin. The difference is plant cells also have some armor. They have a cell wall outside of that plasma membrane. Think of it like body armor, right? So what does body armor do? It protects it. It's a nice sturdy surface. So that's what plants need, right? Plants need to grow tall. They need to be sturdy. They need to be able to stand up against wind, animals stepping on it, stuff like that, right? They have to support its own weight. So cell walls help give it structure, and it's made through cellulose. Has anyone seen that word before? It is something that you eat a whole lot of times. If you think of celery, if you think about celery, you know those like long, thin strands in celery? That's cellulose. It's a fiber that you can't digest. Fibers are very hard, right? Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit here into what a plant cell actually is. So how does this actually work in like a real thing? So cells are obviously not isolated. They're left side by side. So we see a bunch of different plant cells here. So this is, what it looks like if we were to diagram it. You can see all the organelles in there, right? There's your nucleus, there's your chloroplast, so on and so forth, right? There's all the organelles within it. Here's your cytoplasm, blah, 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 all the stuff in it, right? Here's what it actually looks like. This is zoomed in even more. This is a real picture. You can see we have our cell wall there, right? And then we have our So here's our cell wall, then we're gonna have our plasma membrane right beside it, and then there's stuff like, this is your nucleus in here, for example, right? This is the outside of the nucleus. There's more, of course, way out here, but it's not there. This is 38,000 times zoomed in. So quite a bit of stuff, right? So it's we're going to actually look at more and more live pictures as we kind of go through instead of just diagrams. It's nice to actually see it. So I think I got last one. Okay, last one. So last one here that we're looking at is cilia and flagella. So those cilia are those short little hairs on here. They help move the stuff, right? These are the legs. Flagella are longer and less numerous than cilia, but they move in a whip-like motion. So the flagella are the tails. They give it like a propeller. So the flagella are a propeller. The cilia are like the things that help you steer, if that makes sense. And they're both made of microtubules. So their goal is movement.
I don't like how bacteria moves through your body.
How bacteria? We'll learn about bacteria. Like there's so many different kinds, but some of them, yes. Not all of them, but some of them. Yeah.
And you know, diagrams I saw of like viruses and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh yeah, we're gonna eventually look into viruses here. It's crazy how small they are. Like a virus is like that dot there in comparison. Just tiny. Yeah. Yeah, because viruses infect cells. Like they're like a I don't even know, like a ladybug to cells. Like how we look at a ladybug is how cells look at a virus. That's the size difference. Yeah, not all of them, but some of them. Like most viruses are quite small.